Okay, so thank you for sharing with us the very detailed information on the US's CDC preventive procedures. Would you like us to begin the Model UN process, the conference process right now, so that build upon this background knowledge, we can move along with amending the clauses? Okay.
Good morning and good evening, delegates. Welcome to the Model United Nations 2014. Now we'll start the meeting and begin by roll call.
Germany.
Present.
Spain.
Present.
Liberia.
President Mosi.
Guinea.
Present.
Norway.
Present.
New Zealand.
Present.
Taiwan.
Present.
United States. United States.
You have to raise your placard and say present or present and voting.
I think they're muted.
You're muted. Okay, so I think he says present or present and voting. Yeah.
And Mexico.
Yeah, present. Okay. Good.
Since there are 9 delegates, the simple majority will be 5 delegates and the 2/3 majority will be 6 delegates. The floor is now open. Are there any points or motions? Are there any points or motions? Guinea.
Motion to set the agenda to the topic of Ebola outbreak urgent immediate action.
Second. That is in order. We have a motion to set the agenda to the topic of Ebola outbreak urgent immediate action. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? The delegates of United States and Mexico, you should vote for this motion.
So you're either for this discussion or against.
We support the
Would you like to do that again?
Okay, delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards.
Yeah, right.
Yes. All those opposed?
and then
This motion passes. Are there any points or motions? Norway.
Motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute.
second.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to the speakers list, please raise your placards. Norway, Guinea, Liberia, Spain, Germany, Taiwan, New Zealand, United States, Mexico. The delegates of Norway, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Ebola is a global issue. Countries from around the world should take action and over a hand to the affected countries. Immediate action is called for. Ebola affecting everyone. Thus, everyone bears the responsibility of trying to decrease the damage of the epidemic. Norway donates $13 million and has sent more than 116 volunteers to West Africa to help.
From the cases that have already occurred, it has been noticed that women were especially vulnerable during the case of contracting Ebola virus. Statistics show that 2/3 of the patients were women, and our country believes that this might be because they often act the role of caregivers during this epidemic. You have the time to chair.
Thank you. The delegates of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. There has been 67 cases and 1,080 people died in Guinea since the Ebola outbreak began in March. The loss of revenue caused by Ebola crisis has left Guinea dire financial straits. The presidents of our countries together would need about 100 million unto December to cover its budget gap, which will grow if Ebola problem is not tackled by the end of the year. Guinea's finance is not strong enough to establish mechanisms. No money, no sanitation, no health security become a kind of vicious circle. And we hope all of the member states could do their best to provide assistance. This assistance not only on economical, but on human resources, which are one of the important factors that can lead affected countries out of Ebola tragedy. Your time to share.
Okay. The delegate of Liberia, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. There have been 6,500 confirmed cases of Ebola in Liberia until October 31st in 2014. And Liberia are still lack the basic supplies such as food and treatment supplies.
The delegate of Liberia, please speak louder.
And second, since about 200 health workers were infected and more than half of them died. So our countries hope that our countries believe that we should do more activities to protect the healthcare workers. And third, the affected areas in West Africa are isolated by some nations, and our country are
Time's
strong.
up. The delegate of Spain, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. The delegate of Spain believes that it is counterproductive to isolate affected countries. It is vital to ensure that affected countries' medical facilities, as well as their social, economic, and security structures do not collapse. The delegate of Spain would also like to call on member states to not only focus on taking care of victims, but also protect healthcare workers. Healthcare workers should be provided with protective equipment to prevent Ebola screening tests open to diagnose whether they contracted Ebola and send them to hospital as soon as possible if affected. The delegate of Spain hopes all the member states can focus on this issue so as to help those devoted healthcare providers stay away from Ebola.
Thank you. The delegate of Germany, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The whole world work as a team to deal with the Ebola outbreak problem. Germany's Air Force will airlift medical and humanitarian goods and personnel to the affected areas and provide materials for an Ebola treatment center in Liberia with a capacity for 50 beds. And our country has made available more than 100 million euros to combat Ebola. Also, Germany believes that countries which are near affected areas should be supported, especially in West Africa. What's more, Germany will now develop vaccines, and 2 to 30 adult volunteers will be tested in the near future. Our country strongly suggests that people who are not related to Ebola should not go into the affected countries.
Thank you. The delegate of Taiwan, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Collaborates with the National Immigration Agency, Ministry of Foreign Affairs to provide information, and advice so as to monitor visitors coming to and from the affected areas or other threatened regions. Taiwan has also raised the warning level in its travel advisory to 4 countries, Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Congo, asking those visiting there to stay vigilant. Your time, Chair.
Thank you. The delegate of New Zealand, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The situation in West Africa is dire and New Zealand government needs to be putting its hand up more. Medical officer of health for Northern BHB is setting out for Sierra Leone later this month to work with Doctors Without Borders.
And our country is on the eve of a general election. But one of the first tasks of the new government would be the urgent consideration of a range of options so that it could play its part in the international response. You have the time to chair.
Thank you. The delegates of United States, you are recognized for 1 minute.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. For the motion to change how we approach medical care in the United States, we agreed that we think Ebola needs to be taken very seriously and more carefully. Procedures need to be done to address it in light of the healthcare workers who are being affected by it. In doing so, we believe the CDC's guidance for U.S. healthcare settings is similar to the MSF's, Doctors Without Borders guidance. Both CDC's and MSF's guidance documents focus on protecting skin and mucous membranes, particularly systematic strategy for putting on and taking off PPE, use of oversight and observers, disinfecting PPE prior to taking off. I believe all these policies are implemented and new protocols are made that will allow for safer healthcare operations when dealing with Ebola patients, and thus a less severe disease because it won't be able to be spread as easily. Thank you.
Thank you. The delegate of Mexico, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to speak about the viewpoint of Mexico. Right now, they're actually there's not a lot of appearance of Ebola, but also I think they're very concerned about it because it's going to spread over, and also they want to prevent that because they don't want their people to capture Ebola because you know how it's very dangerous in the United States. I'm pretty sure they are also concerned as them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions? Are there any points or motions? Norway.
Motion to introduce the amendment of line 4, clause 9.
That is in order. We have a motion to introduce amendment of line 4, clause 9, draft resolution 2177. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. The delegate of Norway, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of Norway would like to change line 4, clause 9 into each country, depending on how badly affected by Ebola, should be prepared and lead response activities. That is, the organization. Each country, depending on how badly affected by Ebola, should be prepared and lead response activities.
Delegate of Norway changed the line 4, clause 9 into each country, depending on how badly affected by Ebola, should be prepared and lead response activities.
So are you looking at clause 9?
Line 4 of clause 9. Are there any points or motions?
So we are now going to move into amending clause 9. If you can find that on your handout. Okay, yeah, clause 9.
It's on page 14.
No. It's
It's on page 5.
Right, it's on the last page of that resolution. Security Council Resolution 2177. Okay. Okay, so are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you make Continue.
The delegates of Norway changed the line for Clause 9 into each country, depending on how badly affected by Ebola, should be prepared and lead response activities. Are there any points or motions? Norway.
A motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to the speakers list, please raise your placards. Norway. Guinea. The delegates of Norway, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. Each country is affected by Ebola differently. Some are struggling while others are able to cope. As we can see, resources are restricted, and there is no way countries will be able to receive equal aid. Therefore, the delegate of Norway emphasized the need to distribute supplies according to how badly a place is affected. We would also like to emphasize the word prepared. To react to Ebola efficiently, the delegate of Norway would like to point out that no rush and organized action could help solve the problem. Your time to chair.
Thank you. The delegates of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Guinea agree with what Norway say because every country situation of Ebola is different. So Guinea believes that Guinea have to treat those countries in different way. Your time to chair.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions? Dan.
Motion to move into voting procedure.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting procedure. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We will now vote for amendment line 4 of clause 9. The delegates of Norway changed the line 4 of clause 9 into each country, depending on how badly affected by Ebola, should be prepared and lead response activities. Delegates in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. All those opposed? All those abstain? This amendment passes. Are there any points or motions? Liberia.
Motion to introduce amendment line 8 of clause 1.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to introduce amendment line 8 of clause 1, draft resolution 2177. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. The delegates of Liberia, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The delegates of Liberia would like to change line 8 into humanitarian relief supplies, basic daily goods, materials, airport and border safety quarantine. That is, including health workers and humanitarian relief supplies, basic daily goods, materials, airport and border safety quarantine.
Thank you. The delegates of Liberia changed the line 8 of clause 1 into humanitarian relief supplies, basic daily goods, materials, airport, and border safety quarantine, as well as to coordinate their efforts to address the transnational dimension of the Ebola outbreak. Are there any points or motions? Liberia.
Motion to open the speaker's list for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speaker's list for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to the speaker's list, please raise your placards. Liberia. The delegates of Liberia, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. Since there is a shortage of clean water, food, and materials in the affected areas, and Liberia hopes that other countries could contribute these basic supplies and help us to set more health centers. In addition, Liberia would like to intensify the airport and border safety quarantine to stop Ebola from spreading quickly. And since Liberia does not have enough technique and money to have advanced quarantine system, it is hoped that other countries also can help us to build the quarantine system. Please turn to Chair.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions? Norway.
Motion for a moderated caucus of 30 seconds speaking time.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion for
Moderate.
for
A moderated caucus.
minute.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Total.
Oh, sorry. 2 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. That is in order. We have a motion for a 5 minute moderated caucus with a 30-second speaking time. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. Norway, you are the delegate of Norway. You are recognized for 30 seconds.
The delegate of Norway would like to express that it is important that no country close off their border right now at this moment of epidemic. It is important that borders are kept open. However, safety quarantines are needed. Yield time to Chair.
Thank you. Liberia, you are recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. Compared to isolate the infected areas, using airport and border quarantine will be a better and more effective way to stop Ebola outbreak. Your time to Chair.
Thank you. Are there any delegates? Guinea, you are recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Guinea is agree with this amendment because if there are more border restrictions and there are more people are trying to get into the border illegally. Ill time to Chair.
Thank you. Are there any delegates? Does any delegates wish to have 30-second speaking time? Okay. Norway, you are recognized for 30 seconds.
Sorry. Can I motion to close the moderated caucus?
Okay.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to close the moderated caucus. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placard. All those opposed? This motion passes. Are there any points or motions? Liberia.
Motion to move to voting procedure.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting procedure. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We'll now vote for line 8 of class 1. The delegates of Liberia changed the line 8 of class 1 into humanitarian relief supplies, basic daily goods, materials, airport and border safety quarantine, as well as to coordinate their efforts to address the transnational dimension of Ebola outbreak. Delegates in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. All those opposed? All those abstain? This amendment passes. Are there any points or motions? Stand.
Motion to introduce amendment line 2 closed 10. Draft resolution 2177.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to introduce amendment to line 2 of clause 10, draft resolution 2177. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. The delegate of Spain, you are recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Spain would like to add the following to the end of line 2 of clause 10. And also provide these healthcare workers with protective equipment such as masks, clothing, and gloves. That is, health and humanitarian relief workers to respond urgently to the Ebola outbreak, and also provide these healthcare workers with protective equipment such as masks, clothing, and gloves.
The delegate of Spain changed the line 2 of clause 10 into health and humanitarian relief workers to respond urgently to the Ebola outbreak, and also provide these healthcare workers with protective equipment such as masks, clothing, and gloves. Are there any points or motions? Spain.
Motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute 30 seconds.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards.
If you would like to speak, yeah, okay.
All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to a speakers list, please raise your placards. United States, Spain, Mexico, Guinea, Liberia, Norway, Germany, Taiwan. The delegates of United States, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chair. The United States delegate would like to address that we agree wholeheartedly with humanitarian relief workers being added of having protective clothing, such as larger gloves and mesh clothing. It falls in directly in line with the PPE we spoke of earlier, the more protective clothing that the CDC can implement for healthcare workers, and the personal protective equipment that has a higher concentration of mesh and material that protects workers more sufficiently. as well as having to be monitored while they're putting on these more protective clothing so that they don't put it on incorrectly and that will be taken off correctly. We also support the fact that it should be disposable clothing, such as instead of goggles now, replacing that with disposable shields over faces so that no chance of infection will be given to the workers. Thank you.
Thank you. The delegates of Spain, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Since both of United States and Spain focus on the healthcare workers protective issue. So there have been 521 healthcare workers infected with Ebola, and 272 of them died. So this is very serious problem. Very serious problem. If healthcare workers can be provided with protective equipment, they can prevent Ebola and won't be afraid of contracting Ebola while helping patients. Furthermore, training personnel takes time, and there is a shortage of healthcare workers. So we cannot afford to lose any of them. It was time to share.
Thank you. The delegate of Mexico, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mexico definitely supports this, supporting that they should have better protection of clothing and that they should wear better so they can prevent Ebola attachment to them, and also supplies and coordinate assistance and affecting the country and play also their partners so they can also not be attached to Ebola. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The delegate of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. The delegate of Guinea strongly agree with this amendment because there is totally no clause in the draft amendment to ensure health workers' rights. The security of health workers is protected, and they won't be afraid to come to affected area to assist. Guinea has to reaffirm again, Guinea has an urgent need of health workers, so it is essential to give assurance to those warriors who stand on the first line to fight the Ebola. You have the time to share.
Thank you. The delegate of Liberia, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. Liberia will strongly agree what Spain said. And there are several medical care or dead died in our country since there have not enough safe equipment to isolate with the Ebola patient. And it costs more than a half of the health workers that contain Ebola killed. So Liberia thinks that the protection of the doctors and the volunteers, health workers is very important. So time to chair.
Thank you. The delegate of Norway, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Norway agrees with Spain. We believe that medical personnel should be able to have access to proper protective equipment. We are
emphasizing the need to offer adequate equipment to caregivers.
Take our country for example. A
Norwegian doctor who was caring for these infected by Ebola contracted Ebola during the process.
She was cured and safe. However, there is still a need to stay alert.
Your time to chair.
Thank you. The delegates of Germany, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The delegates of Germany agreed with this amendment. Since every healthcare workers donate themselves to helping Ebola patients. The delegate it is definitely necessary to help them give them materials to protect them from infected by Ebola. Your time, Chair.
Thank you. The delegate of Taiwan, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Taiwan agrees with Spain. Workers exposed to Ebola should be provided surgical masks, gowns, and gloves.
Taiwan has made efforts to be well prepared with preventative measures to fight against Ebola in hope of minimizing the damage. Taiwan calls on every country all around the world to give a real-time share.
Thank you.
We have a special guest from the Valle High School, and would you like to address to everyone before we proceed with our conference?
Where do I go?
Right there.
Okay. Hi, my name is Francesca. I attend the University of Texas at Austin. I'm part of a program called Speak Up, Speak Out, and I'm here with Valle High School. Our program is catered towards youth engagement, youth empowerment, and just really engaging the youth in civic responsibilities. So I'm going to be here for the rest of the semester with Mr. Cunningham's class, just working on community issues, raising awareness.
That's great. So you're going to be helping the students at Del Valle High School work on the Speak Up, Speak Out projects?
Yes, that's correct.
And we're using this and that other video conference for Speak Up, Speak Out. So in return, she's working with you guys too.
Oh, okay. Well, a couple of years ago, we also participated in Speak Up and Speak Out, and we won second place now. A little while ago. Thanks to Mr. Cunningham.
Okay. Thank you. We can continue.
Okay, so now we'll continue our meeting. Are there any points or motions? Liberia.
Motion to move into voting procedure.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting procedure. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We'll now vote for amendment to line 2 of class 10. The delegates of Spain changed the line 2 of class 10 into health and humanitarian relief workers to respond urgently to the Ebola outbreak and also provide these healthcare workers with protective equipment such as masks, clothing, and gloves. Delegates in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. All those opposed? All those abstain? This amendment passes. Are there any points or motions? Guinea.
Motion to introduce amendment clause 7, line 1.
That is in order. We have a motion to introduce amendment line 1 of clause 7. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placard. All those opposed? This motion passes. The delegates of Guinea, you are recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Guinea would like to add some sentence in front of the codon. That is, request WHO to establish an international mechanism to assess the situation of the affected countries to distribute the resources which other countries offer, and that is, request WHO to establish an international mechanism to assess the situation of the affected countries to distribute the resources which other countries offer, and calls on member states to provide urgent resources and assistance. The delegate of Guinea changed the line 1 of clause 7 into requested WHO to establish an international mechanism to assess the situation of the affected countries and distribute the resources which other countries offer, and calls on member states to provide urgent resources and assistance. Are there any points or motions? Guinea. Motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placard. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to the speakers list, please raise your placard. Guinea. Germany. Norway. The delegates of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Liberia and Sierra Leone and Guinea are the 3 most affected countries. Of the nearly 13,500 cases there, Guinea has had the smallest number of cases among the 3 countries. But Guinea also needs as much help as Liberia and Sierra Leone. Guinea is now the country with the least amount of resources or even attention. So we believe that there's an urgent necessity to establish a mechanism to assess this situation. And Guinea believes WHO is a better choice than UN, since UN has to focus on many other things like economy and security, and not only on the Ebola outbreak. Also, WHO knows the information about Ebola clearly. Give the time to chair.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions?
Point of order.
Okay.
The chair missed the delegate of Germany and Norway.
Okay, thank you. The delegates of Germany, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegates of Germany agrees to divide the resources which other countries offer fairly. For the delegates of Germany believes that WHO cannot take this job on their own. They also need other organizations' help because there are still lots of things WHO do not know, like policy, military. And WHO still has to deal with the other problems except Ebola. And delegates of Germany had a question for Guinea. If WHO doesn't finish this job, is there any punishment to them? Give it time to Guinea.
Okay, the delegate of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Guinea has a question to Germany too. What is your you have mentioned if WHO haven't finished the job, what is the job? Give the time to Germany.
They said
Point of order. The delegate of Germany haven't been recognized by chair.
Okay. The delegate of Germany, you are recognized for 50 seconds.
the delegate of Guinea said,
the delegate of Guinea, the delegate of Germany, cannot hear clearly the question from Guinea, but the diet of Germany, believe you are asking the job you have mentioned. The job you have mentioned is to deal with the Ebola affair. Ebola affairs. Because of WHO have more other things need to deal with. So the delegate of Germany thinks other organization may be the better choice to take this job.
Time's up. The delegate of Norway, you are recognized for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The delegate of Norway would like to express that Ebola was not the making of one single country. It is now a global issue affecting countries all around. We should place ourselves inside their patient's position. And then to those who haven't been directly affected by Ebola, please take a moment now and think about how desperate we would be in need of help. Your time to chair.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions? Liberia.
Motion to move to voting procedure.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting procedure. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We'll now vote for line 1, amendment to line 1 of clause 7. The delegates of Guinea changed the line 1 of clause 7 into requested WHO to establish an international mechanism to assess the situation of the affected countries and distribute the resources which other countries offer, and calls on member states to provide urgent resources and assistance. Delegates in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. All those opposed? All those abstain? This amendment passes. Are there any points or motions? United States.
Did you unmute? Yeah, we did. Make the motion to amend line 1 and 2 of clause 4 to change to lift general travel and border restrictions into to limit general travel and border restrictions, so that some isolation can still be kept around the world so that Ebola cannot spread.
The delegate of the United States haven't been recognized by chair.
Okay, so we have to
And
wait
we
for
still
the-
not, and we haven't voted for this motion.
You jumped too quickly.
Oh.
Rationale.
You rushed on. Okay, so we want to go back to the where you say you want to amend the line 1 of clause 4. Go back to where you start from there.
Okay.
Okay.
So
that is in order. We have a motion to introduce amendment to line 1 and 2 of clause 4. Draft resolution 2177. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards.
You raise your placard.
I have to raise my own placard.
Yeah, you have.
All those opposed? This motion passes. The delegates of the United States, you are recognized.
Now you begin. You're muted. Okay, go.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The amendment we'd like to make are to change the rhetoric of the 4th clause to say from to lift general travel and border restrictions into to limit general travel and border restrictions, so that border restrictions and general travel restrictions are still in place, but there is in a limited sense still being reasonable, so we can prevent any mass disarray or hysteria in the states from persons not wanting to get infected by travelers, as that's how the disease has been spread in the first place. Thank you.
Okay. The delegate of United States changed line 1 and 2 of clause 4 into some member states, including of the region, to limit general travel and border restrictions. Are there any points or emotions? Okay. United States.
I think we make the motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to open the speakers list for 1 minute. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegates wishing to be added to the speakers list, please raise your placards. Norway, United States, Guinea, Liberia, Spain. The delegate of Norway, you are recognized for 1 minute.
The delegate of Norway would like to pose the question to the delegate of USA. What do you mean by limit the general travel and border restrictions? Does that mean to add quarantine? Your time to USA.
The delegate of United States, you are recognized for 40 seconds.
And answering the question from Norway, we offer the response that not necessarily adding quarantines, but the current quarantines that countries around the world had initially set in place in light of the Ebola outbreak to still have quarantines in place, but to limit those quarantines on a lesser scale, to allow a limited travel across the world, but there still would be restrictions in place to ensure that those who contracted Ebola will not be able to travel back into other countries and spread the disease, such as how the Ebola was spread to the United States in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. The delegate of United States, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. The delegate of the United States.
Point of order. Point of order. It's United States' turn to speak, not Guinea's. The delegate of Guinea's.
Okay. The delegate of United States, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In moving forward with our motion to limit the general travel and border restrictions, we still believe that it is crucial to allow persons with Ebola and travelers around the world to have their freedoms. However, we think it is for the general welfare of all countries around the world if the disease is spread by the travelers on airplanes, for example, that obviously an obvious stopping to that would be to, again, have some restrictions still in place. While the restrictions initially, we agree, have been a bit overt, we still accept the fact that some limitations are necessary. As again, since the outbreak of Ebola started by a traveler on an airplane to our country, that could be easily curtailed with some limited airline use by those types of passengers. Thank you.
Thank you. The delegate of Guinea, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The delegate of United States changed this into limits. Guinea believe that is not good, because if you limit the travel restriction, that might that a lot of health workers could not come to our country, and such as some affected countries, and they couldn't help. Your time is here.
Thank you. The delegate of Liberia, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Liberia have a question to ask the delegate of United States. What if
country doesn't have the technique or the money to have the quarantine or screen the airport, should the airport needs to be limited your time to USA.
The delegates of United States, you are recognized for 40 seconds.
Thank you. And just my previous question, I believe that you can't put a price on the safety of the general welfare of all the people in one's country. Therefore, each government has monetary reserves in place for outbreaks such as this. I believe the most feasible way to implement and use those funds that are in place for every country is to place some restrictions on the border and airline aspects, because in the long run, it saves you the money of the healthcare workers you have to combat Ebola if it were to come into your country. For example, United States, if Ebola was never allowed to come here from airline travel, we never had to address it with spend the money to do so in hospitals, healthcare workers, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you. The delegates of Spain, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. The delegates of Spain think this amendment is not good because some supplies may be blocked by this amendment. And Nigeria is now free Ebola, and what their plans to face Ebola outbreak is to open border. So the delegate of Spain think this is not a good amendment. You have time to chair.
Thank you. Are there any points or motions? United States.
Thank you. Motion to move to voting procedure.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting procedure. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We'll now vote for amendment to line 1 and 2 of clause 4. The delegates of United States changed the line 1 and 2 of clause 4 into close-on members of the region to limit general travel and border restrictions. Delegates in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This amendment failed. Are there any points or motions? Taiwan.
Motion to move into a voting block.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to move into voting block. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. We'll now vote for draft resolution 2177. Delegates in favor of this draft resolution, please raise your placards. All those opposed? All those abstain? This draft resolution passed. Are there any points or motions? Any?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
That is in order. We have a motion to adjourn. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. All those opposed? This motion passes. The meeting is now adjourned.
I'd like to comment on the performance of today's delegates and chair. I thought that they were well prepared and very well organized. and very well prepared material information for USA, and their point to speak from their representing country's point of view. And I thought everyone did very well, and the dialogue went on. So congratulations to everyone and your outstanding performance. And also, I also want to make a personal comment. Jacob is a very, very quick learner. Excellent job. He caught on very quickly. So we have a few more minutes before we actually disconnect. Any final comments from anybody from either side?
Yeah, we'd like to hear from Francisca, our new person who's helping us out, and she wants to tell you a little bit about global outreach, how this, what she's studying.
Sure.
Well, right now I'm a social work and history major, so I'm very interested in reaching out to communities and mobilizing members to take issues into their own hands and solve them, put pressure on their elected officials. I'm very interested in policy, legislation, and I'm also very interested in youth engagement, which is why I'm here today with Speak Up, Speak Out. I think young people have the power to change their communities, so I really want to empower young people to get out there and create change that they see fit for their communities.
Great. Is that international sites?
Yeah, Mary has a history of a lot of students that she goes through that really make a lot of difference in the world.
So if we're eligible to participate in your SUSO, the Speak Up, Speak Out project again, let us know.
I think we can pick you up in the spring. I'll send you some stuff, and this one is going to be done in about 3 weeks, but then they have a spring one coming up, and we can do it remotely with you, or not necessarily with you, but I can get set up for you, okay?
Similar to...
They do 2 a year now, one in the fall and one in the spring.
Right, okay. So it's still similar to the ones that we did back then, I don't know, a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The rules are similar, right?
Yeah. Okay. A little bit different now. I'll send you the rules, but basically it's the same thing. You pick an issue, and this year we try to pick an issue, and our idea was in action is to actually have students talk about it, talk like we did with the people of Pittsburgh, and then talk like with you guys about legislation, so they could kind of see, it's one thing to say something's really bad, but it's another thing to try to see how you could actually do something about it. So we're trying to look at all angles of one issue. So I think that would be pretty effective.
Uh-huh. That sounds really interesting, and something that we can work on. Are you thinking of working on a project together or separately?
I'd like to work on one together, and I'd like to try to do one about learning English, because what's really amazing to me is that how well you guys speak, and maybe we could get Iran or somebody too, and how well Iranians speak English. But we have a lot of students that go through schools here for years. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years that will not speak English as well as the people in your program. So I think we can learn a whole lot more. Alondra, what was your native language? Spanish. And your native language? Thai. And then Jacob's was English, and Francisco, what was your native language? Spanish. Okay, so here's a case of 4 people here in the United States, and 3 of the 4 people, English was not their first language.
So you have a very diverse class, which is very helpful in learning.
Yeah, and Francisca comes from Houston, which is much more diverse than Austin even. We're diverse in the respect that we're ultra liberal and in some areas, but Houston's diverse in where they have it's like a Chicago or New York. They have centers of population that would just be, you know, pockets of similar type people.
Yeah, I think this is something that would be of very much interest to my class and the students here. So I think we could talk more about that.
Okay.
And get them working. I think it would be a good idea to get the
I would be
students.
glad. See, we're going to try to work with Lydia, and we're going to try to do like a moot court idea. And the idea was, it's really kind of neat. It's about teenagers and underage drinking. But the object is, if you can, you know, like court cases. I remember back to Roy and Henry and you know, when they were in school, how impressed I was with their language. And if you can think in that language and you can learn to think, you really learn how to teach that language well.
Yeah. You said that your moot court is in February, is that it?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'll send you, I think I sent you the stuff, but I'll send it to you again. It's only about a 4-page deal, 20
Right.
minutes.
And, the whole session would be about how long?
Less than an hour.
Okay.
But we could, then that way we could do is we could do some pre and post testing on English. We could get some, we could actually get a federal judge from Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania to judge us. We could have it in a courtroom. We could make it a really nice situation. It'd be really a cool remote experience.
Good idea to have a real judge or a real lawyer, because they always give us very professional feedback.
Yeah, my idea was to have a real judge in a real courtroom.
Okay, so we're gonna end this session soon, because it's like half past 11 in the evening. So like, no, half an hour before everyone turns into pumpkin or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Bye, Cinderella.
So great job on all the students. I thought that the students did real well, and the 2 sessions that we had today, you can put them up as model, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have both of them up, and I'll send you the link.
Yeah, and they can serve as you know, I guess some sort of a material for people who want to learn how to do a model event.
Yeah, I think so. I would like the idea, which I'd like to take one step further in May when we do it again. I'd like to actually have like Bulgaria learn, and they represent their country, Iran represent their country, and actually have the people representing their country, because I think that ends up getting a lot more dialogue on real-time learning.
Yeah, if we can get enough countries, then we wouldn't have to, you know, have one site represent so many.
Right. Okay. Talk to you later. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.